that some of the most enduring weapons and tools in history were made without electricity, motors, or even measuring instruments as we know them today. Imagine forging a sword strong enough to last generations, a farming tool precise enough to harvest crops without damage, or a horseshoe that could withstand hundreds of miles of travel, all without a single watt of electricity. That's exactly what Ottoman blacksmiths did, and they did it so well that even today, collectors, historians, and craftsmen still study their methods. In today's world, if you want to make anything from metal, you likely need power tools, laser cutters, hydraulic presses, or at the very least, a workshop full of electricity-powered devices. But what if all that vanished tomorrow? Could you still make something useful? That's the problem we're facing in this episode. How to craft durable, functional metal tools and weapons without any modern equipment. So we're going back to the Ottoman Empire to learn from the true masters of low-tech metallurgy. Now, before you imagine the Ottoman blacksmith as just a man hammering away in a dark forge, think again. He was a chemist, an engineer, a weapons expert, and in many ways, an artist. His forge was his laboratory. His tools, extensions of his hands. He understood fire, air, metal, and time, better than many modern technicians with degrees. In the Ottoman world, blacksmiths, or demirciler, were crucial members of both cities and villages. Without them, the empire wouldn't function. No plows for the farmers, no hinges for the carpenters, no horseshoes for the cavalry, no swords for the janissaries. Every piece of metal had to be made by hand and made to last. Their work wasn't just craft, it was survival. They were the backbone of the Ottoman practical economy. But how exactly did they do it? First, let's start with the heart of the operation, the forge. No electric furnaces here. Blacksmiths built their forges from stone and clay, usually outdoors or in open workshops. The fuel? Charcoal, made from slowly burning wood in low-oxygen pits. Charcoal was light, hot-burning, and perfect for the temperatures needed to melt or shape iron. And how did they get airflow? Not with fans or air compressors, but with manually operated bellows, often made from goat skin and wood. A young apprentice might spend hours just pumping air into the fire to maintain heat. That apprentice? He was learning the craft the hard way, by literally fueling it. Want to try this at home? You can. Many homesteaders and preppers have begun building small backyard forges using fire bricks and natural charcoal. With a hand crank blower or even a foot-powered bellows, you can reach forging temperatures and try small metalwork. No electricity needed. If you find that idea fascinating, hit that like button and consider subscribing. We bring these ancient skills to life for the modern world.
Now, once the forge was hot, the real magic began. The blacksmith would select his metal, often raw iron, sometimes with trace amounts of carbon to make steel. Did he have a chemical lab? No. But he knew by color, sound, and feel whether the metal was right. Heating the metal until it was glowing red or orange, he'd then place it on an anvil, often made of repurposed iron blocks, and begin shaping. Here's where technique mattered. Without machines, every strike of the hammer had to be precise. Too hard and the metal might crack, too soft and the shape wouldn't hold. They used hammers of different weights and tongs of all shapes. Need a fine edge? They'd use a file made from harder metal. Need a curve? A wooden jig or carved stone mold would guide the shape. Let's pause here for a moment. Consider this. Today we rely on machines for consistency, but the Ottomans relied on skill and rhythm. A master blacksmith could hammer out dozens of identical horseshoes in a day, just by muscle memory. They didn't just build tools, they became the tool. So what did they make? Weapons were a major product, of course. Swords like the keylage, daggers, spears, arrowheads, all handcrafted. The keylage in particular was a masterpiece of design. With its curved blade and tapered edge, it combined the cutting power of a saber with the agility of a short sword. The curve wasn't decorative. It allowed powerful slashing on horseback while maintaining control. And the best part? The balance. Ottoman blacksmiths mastered blade balance centuries before the word ergonomic was invented. They also crafted farming tools, hoes, sickles, scythes, all shaped for specific crops. You couldn't just use one blade for everything. A vineyard sickle was different from one used in wheat fields. Every region had its own tool preferences, and blacksmiths adapted accordingly. This local knowledge made them community engineers, not just metalworkers. Another interesting point, recycling. In the Ottoman world, nothing went to waste. Broken weapons were reforged into tools, old nails became arrowheads, even horseshoes were melted down and reformed. This wasn't just economic, it was philosophical. Metal had value, and reshaping it was part of respecting the material. Imagine applying that logic today. How many broken appliances do we throw out without even thinking? What if we could fix, reforge, reuse?
Let's talk materials. Ottoman blacksmiths worked primarily with wrought iron and early forms of steel. They didn't have access to modern stainless steel or alloys, but they knew how to create strong, durable blades through quenching and tempering. Heating metal, then cooling it rapidly in water or oil, increased hardness. Tempering, reheating gently, reduced brittleness. These techniques, learned through centuries of observation and trial, produced weapons that lasted through campaigns and generations. And yes, even decorative work mattered. Blacksmiths also made locks, door handles, hinges, and even ornate gates. If you've ever visited a historic Ottoman building and admired the metalwork on the doors or windows, that was the handiwork of a local demirci. They didn't just make things function, they made them beautiful. There was pride in precision, art in utility. Training to become a blacksmith was no small task. You started young, sometimes as early as 8 or 9 years old, sweeping the floor, pumping the bellows, fetching coal. Slowly you learned to hold the tongs, swing the hammer, understand the fire. After years as an apprentice, you'd become a journeyman, allowed to take on minor projects. And only after many more years, if your work was precise and your reputation solid, could you become a master, a usta. And if you're enjoying this journey into Ottoman blacksmithing, don't forget to subscribe. We explore how ancient people solved complex problems and how we can still learn from them today. Hit that bell icon so you don't miss the next episode. Now, what can we take from all this? What modern lessons hide in the smoke of an Ottoman forge? First, we learn patience. Every tool took time. There were no shortcuts. That meant quality mattered more than speed. Today, in a world of fast manufacturing and disposable goods, this mindset is rare and precious. Second, adaptability. Every blacksmith tailored their work to the needs of the local people. They weren't making one-size-fits-all tools. They were customizing based on feedback. Imagine if our modern production systems were that locally responsive. Third, skill over equipment. With just fire, hammer, and hand, they built entire civilizations. That should inspire anyone trying to live with less. Off-grid? No problem. Want to build your own tools? It's possible. Don't let lack of machines hold you back. And finally, respect for materials. Every piece of metal had a history. Every reuse was a conscious act. Today, where waste is rampant, this philosophy feels revolutionary. So, could you survive as an Ottoman blacksmith? Could you shape iron with no electricity, no machines, no modern tech? What tool would you build first? Let us know in the comments. Would you try to make a knife, a garden hoe, a set of hinges for a wooden door? We want to hear what inspires you. And if this video helped you see ancient craftsmanship in a new light, give it a like and share it with a friend.
Let's keep these skills alive, not just as history, but as practice. Until next time, keep learning, stay sharp, and never underestimate the power of your own two hands.